Hello, and welcome back to Random Awesome Meg. I am Meg, and this is movie 34 out of 1001 movies. It is The Jazz Singer. So IMDb gave this a 6.4, and I gave it a 4. I'm not really somebody who gives ones on movies, so a 4 for me is pretty low, just to go ahead and let you know. The big thing with this movie is it is the first movie to have audio for a little bit of dialogue. So let's get into the plot. So the protagonist, Jackie, is a child and he is reprimanded by his father for singing jazz music while being in a traditionally Jewish family where his father is a cantor, and what a cantor is a trained clergy member who sings. And so he is ashamed of his son for doing something with jazz music, and this causes Jackie to run away, vowing to never return due to his father giving him a whooping. Years later, Jackie is an adult who continues his love of jazz singing. This is where we get the audio of whenever he sings a song. We actually get to hear the song for the first time, and there are like a couple little lines of dialogue. Through his success, he is able to get. He kind of like does a couple of gigs, and he winds up being back in town where his parents are at to perform on Broadway, which is very excited. And so, since he's in town, he tries to make amends with his father, who just pushes him away. What happens then is that his father gets sick, and a singer is needed for the Day of Atonement, which is the same night as Jackie's big show that he's been waiting on. And so he goes back and forth. He can't decide, but in the end, he chooses to do the song at the Day of Atonement for his father, and they just cancel the showing for that night, and then the next night he gets to perform. So happily ever after, right? So what's the big deal? Honestly, I don't think the plot was anything special, and maybe that's just a me thing. Overall, even before what we're about to get into in a second, which if you know about this movie, you know what we're about to get into. But I just thought it was bland. I just thought it was boring. Everything felt meh. Like, it was just the stereotypical overbearing father who has a change of heart. The mother always that has always loved like her child no matter what, and the boy with something to prove. And I'm not saying these tropes can't work, but I felt like I was being hit over the head with them, and it just I wasn't a fan of the writing as well. Now, let's get into what is one of the main reasons that this is so low and will probably remain at the bottom of my list throughout the years to come. So, what we have to decide is should impact be before racism? Because part of the reason this movie is rated so high is due to the actual audio of Al Johnson, the actor, singing and saying a few lines of dialogue. But the reason I and other people rate this movie so low is due to it having blackface. So, during a scene where Jackie is backstage, he is debating on whether or not to sing in his father's place. You watch him dip his fingers into something and put a streak on his face. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, it can't be. There's no way they're about to show it on camera, but they do. They show the whole process of him covering his face in black paint, followed by putting on a wig, which was horrifying to watch. There have been movies before this that I have seen where there have been people in blackface, but I've never actually witnessed someone doing blackface on film. And so the rest of the time, I was incredibly uncomfortable and honestly wanted to stop watching the movie because the whole time you can't look at him even if he's not in blackface. It's just not the same watching the movie. And it was so weird at the end to see him in blackface singing his heart out as his mother has tears of joy rolling down her face, being like, oh my gosh, that's my baby boy. Look at him up there. And so, yeah, that's why I've rated it low. Some people, again, it's more of a question for you to decide if you watch this movie of should impact come before racism, because some people rate this high because of course you have the audio, but other people like myself are like, It's a racist movie. I don't want to rate it high. I can't. And so would I recommend this? No, I would not. It is the very bottom of my list, only above one movie. And that one movie is Broken Blossoms. And the only reason I put it above Broken Blossoms is because Broken Blossoms has both whitewashing in that the Asian protagonist is actually played by a white man, and then it also has a very weird age gap between the protagonist and the secondary character of like a good like 10 or 15 years. It's also uncomfortable. So I was like, I'll just leave Broken Blossoms at the bottom and then this can be like barely above it. But anyways, hopefully our next one will be better. So tune in on Monday for October. Have a great one.